Welcome to Real Estate Secrets Unlocked, the podcast that takes you inside the minds of the industry's top professionals, revealing their top secrets to success. I'm your host, Danielle Damianov. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, get ready to learn the latest trends, strategies, and secrets that will help you succeed. Join us as we go beyond the basics and explore what it takes to make it in the world of real estate. So buckle up and get ready for a wild ride. This is Real Estate Secrets Unlocked. Hey everybody, it's Danielle Damianov, and I am here today on Real Estate Secrets Unlocked with Andrew Drewbie Wilson, aka Meme Lord. Yes, I love it. So I am with the Meme Lord today, and we are going to talk about some awesome stuff. You got a lot of new things going on, so I'm really excited to let everybody know. So thank you so much for being here.
Danielle, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. If there's one thing I know when it comes to real estate and being successful in real estate, it's calling the damn leads and doing the damn work. So I'm excited to be here and share with your audience and help them really get dialed in on anything that I can to be successful in the game here.
Yes, I love it. So I got a lot of questions. So you started Call the Damn Leads actually a while ago. I remember like that kind of being, I was going to say a trademark, of yours. And so now you've turned that into a business. So tell me a little bit about what it does, like what your business does.
Yeah, absolutely. So funny story. It was a trademark phrase of mine that I would use all the time because backtrack, 5-6 years ago when I was coming out of the insurance industry where I, had gotten started, I was focused on marketing. I built a marketing agency. I had a lot of clients that we were getting a lot of leads. And the biggest complaint was, oh, these leads suck and this, that, whatever. And I went, okay, cool. Picked up the phone, started calling them, set contracts, set appointments, all the things that go along with when you do the work, the results follow. And so I would just tell these guys like, hey, call the damn leads, call the damn leads. And it got to a point where I was like, I need to just put this on a t-shirt. And funny enough, 3 years ago, I did that. I started the store. I did all the things. And then it's like, all great ideas that we don't focus on. It went to the back burner and kind of just fizzled out and just did what it did. And, people always said call the damn leads. It's existed. It's been around, but it wasn't something I was putting my full focus and energy on until about 90 days ago when I decided, this is a time in my life where I want to build something that I can leave to my son. I want to make just this massive impact on the world. And the only way to do that is to get a singular focus and to really dial in on this brand and building it out to what it can be. So essentially what we do is we run an e-commerce store. So we have sales swag, keychains, wristbands, all the fun stuff that you can give to your team and your closers. And we also have a sales training and a follow-up and a community to go along with it. Because here's the thing, you can be a fantastic sales professional, but if you don't have the right people guiding you, pointing you in life and making sure that you're, staying in the bumper lanes, let's say, it's real easy to get off track and to lose that focus. So that's really what we do. We give you a funny reminder to get out there and do the work. And then we make sure that if you ever get stuck or need help, you have a community that you can reach out to and learn from.
I literally just had an epiphany or like another concept for your business, because there are a lot of people, right, that are in sales that no, they don't want to call the leads. And so when I was in real estate and I was in coaching, I used to go to Mike Ferry's prospecting school all the time. So you should have a community of prospectors, whether it's insurance sales, real estate sales, mortgage, whatever. Everyone's wearing your call the damn leads, hats, shirts, whatever. And do like prospecting sessions together. In fact, Mike Ferry's got a prospecting session, I think going on this week or last week, something like that. So just another idea and for your little community.
Let me grab my call the damn leads pen and write that down here. Mike Ferry prospecting. All right, Danielle, see, that was a download for me today. I appreciate that. So any of you that are listening here, just know that I've now got another $1 million idea from Danielle just from listening in and taking that word. So thank you for that, Danielle. I appreciate that.
I am that idea person. I have ideas all the time, which is probably why I never stay on track because I'm a squirrel. Oh, another idea. Okay. Anyways, great concept. I absolutely love it. I know you've been in sales for a long time. I had another podcast with you about a year ago, I think it was, and we talked all about that.
Nice.
So anybody wants to listen to that podcast, it's Real Estate Secrets Unlocked with Drewbie. And there was so many amazing golden nuggets in that podcast, but we're not going to talk about that today. What I do want to talk about is basically systems and processes along, calling the leads. So what would you say, like, the top 3 tips or techniques would be for, first of all, lead generation, and then also lead follow-up, because I think that is where the ball gets dropped almost 90% of the time. We'll make that initial call to the lead. We'll send that initial email. We'll send that initial text, but then we don't follow up with them properly. And so what would you say for number 1, lead generation, and then lead follow-up?
Absolutely. So when it comes to lead generation, there's literally no better process than being yourself and being engaged in your community. And I think a lot of people overcomplicate that. And what I mean is, if you have hobbies, interests, if you go out into the world to buy groceries, like literally, if you exist as a human being, you can be prospecting. And all that really means is that you're having conversations with other people. Now, does every conversation lead to a transaction? Absolutely not. That's where the process of qualifying questions, and I mean, we could go into that, but like the core of lead generation is being an engaged human being and caring about other people. That it. Like, simplify it down to that level. And then to go further, when you think about that, now, okay, well, I'm a human being. I exist. I go out into the world. I go on social media. Imagine that, social being the first word of that. Now, thinking about, where are you having intentional conversations? Where are you asking those questions to see, who is this individual? What matters to them? And am I in a position to offer them something of value? That's it. Because sometimes it's a quick conversation and like, oh, hey, someone's going to ask you, where do I find such and such? Oh, you're going to find it over here. And this way, and all of a sudden you start that conversation. Well, tell me about yourself. How does this work? Well, I'm new to the area. I'm looking to buy a home. What crazy divine timing. I'm a real estate agent. I would love to help you. Are you working with anybody? It's Danielle, it's that simple, but people overlook it.
Well, and also before you even said this word is what I was thinking, they're not intentional, right?
Yeah.
So like, they will just have conversations with people, and that's great. But when you're in the business of sales, you have to always be selling, always have that in your mind. So if you're not intentional with those conversations, you can completely miss the fact that you have a live hot lead right in front of you that you're talking to.
And I love the Glenn Ross to always be closing, but I like to look at it as always be serving, because sales is serving. Serving is sales. And when you show up and you serve people, you create the opportunity for an exchange of value. And that's what sales is. So do that. Focus on every day when you're going out, who are you having conversations with, and how are you being intentional with leaving them in a better position than when you started that conversation? Leave them with a smile. Leave them with something, to brighten their day. It's crazy how far a kind word or just a smile or a gesture can go for someone. Like, it's insane the relationships I've built just by saying, hey, I really like that shirt, or some, silly compliment that's like true and honest and authentic, but just genuine in nature.
Right.
Hopefully that answered your question.
Yes. Well, answer the first part. So lead generation, being intentional, figuring out, talking to people, being out in the community, prospecting can be anything from, going to your local chamber of commerce, the kids' school, whatever, and building that database. So then the second part is your lead follow-up, and what are the steps, to take the processes to follow up with those people, right? Because, when I sold real estate years ago, I remember the days when I'd get a lead, I'd write it on like, the back of a receipt, and then I use that receipt. So you definitely need a process. So what would you recommend?
Yeah. So that's a great question, and I'm excited because this is going to be a little bit more of an extended answer. Not that the first one wasn't a little more extended, but this is what I nerd out on, right? This is the stuff that really gets me excited because these are the tactics that your listeners, whoever's here with us today paying attention, can take this and literally turn it into another $100,000, $200,000 in their commissions this year. Just these little things that they're going to pick up. So here's the first and foremost. If you're going to create relationship, have a system that you can put information into, a CRM, customer relationship manager. If you're not familiar with CRM, although at this point, like, God help you if you're not, hit up Danielle. I know she's built one that's very, very nice and designed specifically for the industry, right? Because every CRM is great. All of them have a lot of bells and whistles. None of them matter if you don't actually use them.
100%.
So having a system and a simple process to get people's information and put them into that system, that's my number one tip. Because again, it's really easy to be like, oh, I'll remember that person. I'll remember to find them on social media. What was their name again? Damn it. They told me their Instagram handle. No, Johnny, I'm not making a sandwich right now. Like, it's that quick. Gone. Dust in the wind. An opportunity doesn't go away. It goes to someone else. So getting intentional about connecting that information in the moment, huge. I like to use simple captures. You can, take a picture of someone's business card. You can add, iPhones can bump together at this point, but just to simplify, get their contact information, get their name, have some sort of point of reference, because that's all a lead really is it's someone's name, a point of contact, and an expression that they're kind of maybe interested in what you have going on.
Right.
That is like the trifecta of a base lead. So when you have that information, now from there, the most important part, as you said, is building a routine where you're consistently staying in contact with those people. And here's the truth. It starts with your personal life. Because if you can't respect your time and get where you spend your time and energy dialed in and focused, it's literally for nothing. Because you could have a database with 50,000 leads in it, and some of you probably do, that you're not calling, and you're losing that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Because you're busy. You got these other things you got to take care of. But here's what I know, and this is kind of where I'm not going to squirrel off too far into this tangent, but take whatever like if you're listening to this, it's the end of the year, take whatever you made last year total between all the little side hustles and all the things that you do. How much was it? What's that grand total? Divide that number by 2,000. Because if you work a normal job, and I know if you're listening to this, you're not average, you're not normal because you're actively trying to get better. But if you worked a normal job, 40 hours a week, took a 2-week vacation, you work about 2,000 hours a year. So if you made $100,000 last year and you worked 2,000 hours, you're worth $50 an hour. Some people, that's fantastic. Here's the thing. If you knew you only had 24 hours left to live and I handed you a $50 bill, you still going to come work for me for an hour? No, absolutely not. You're not. Come on. So why do people continue to operate in their life as if they have this unlimited amount of time that they can get to those things later?
Exactly.
It's crazy. And I don't mean to get like too, off the track with it, but that's the truth. If you're not focused, if you don't have a routine, and you're not spending intentional time doing the work, calling the leads, following up with your prospects, making sure that your contracts are signed and sent out where they need to be, then it's your own fault that you're not succeeding at the level you'd like to.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Well, and I think it's a challenge for a lot of people, just organizing their time management. You have lead generation, lead follow-up. If you're just starting into the business, you've got to learn contracts, get in contracts. There's a lot going on with it. And so that's why automation is key. And I'm going to plug CRM here quickly. But, everybody has, in my opinion, the same issues, the same struggles. And so when you realize what that struggle is, you then can implement a process or an automation into your system. So with Done by One, where that whole thing came about, is identifying what are the top things that need to be done that's going to move the needle in my business and have them all done by one. And Then you can go and do whatever you want for the rest of the day. If you have all of this other stuff on your list, if you get to it, great. If you don't, but you've now spent the first part of your day moving the needle in your business. And that starts with, sales, marketing, lead generation, lead follow-up, and really making sure that all of your, outreach to your leads, following up with your leads, calling those damn leads is done. And the other thing is, automation. So with the CRM, I've automated a lot of that lead follow-up. I'll give you a prime example. I was on a call the other day, a Zoom call, and I had a realtor message me on Facebook while I was on the call and was like, hey, I have somebody that needs to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. I said, great. Can you have them fill out this form? I'll get in touch with them right away. Well, this guy didn't know I was on a Zoom call. So he filled out the form, and immediately my CRM left a voicemail drop for the client, sent an email with the loan application and how to apply, and sent a text message letting them know that I just sent the email to check their email. It could be in spam, with all of the steps on how to apply for the mortgage. If they still want to talk to me, they can text me at this number. She did text me. I said, I'm in a meeting. I'll call you right back. She said, no need to. I got your email. I'll do the application tonight. So automating a simple step and having someone fill out a form, that lead got followed up with immediately. Now taking that another step, lead follow-up, I know is a problem. So if someone is in my CRM and they're sitting in the application sent part of the CRM for 5 days, and you can shorten it if you want, it automatically texts them, emails them, and sends a voicemail drop. Hey, you didn't do the application yet. Just checking to see if you're still looking to get pre-qualified. So figuring out where your bottleneck is or what you're failing to do, and then setting automations and processes around that. And that is with the Done by One CRM. So there's my little plug for that. But it goes along with exactly what you're saying, because a lot of people don't automate those calls, or they forget to, or whatever. And that's where the money is, though. The money is in the follow-up.
It is. And what I love with Done by One is the thing, like, this is how I live my day. If you have 24 hours in a day, there's a couple things that are important, right? We have sleep. We know we got to sleep because I'm not going to make it far without that. We have our business because we have to work. So we know that's part of our day. Then we have our family and our kids and all the relationships and all the things. And then like all the responsibilities that we have. So there's, we kind of put ourselves last on that list.
Right.
But here's what's crazy is that when you get on an airplane, the first thing they tell you is put your own oxygen mask on first, because if you can't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of anyone around you, and you literally become a burden. So if you think about it that way, and you're like, hey, I know that there's, sleep, I got to sleep every day, and there's 18 hours left in the day at that point, well, 6 times 3 is 18. So you got 3 areas that are important: business, family, personal. If you knew you could spend every day spending 6 intentional hours on your business, getting everything done, and knowing you had 12 additional hours a day to live your life, how much more could you do?
Exactly.
It's crazy. That's what Done by One is all about. You you get your work done by one, you're out the door, and you can live your life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Come on, hallelujah.
And with you, you're going off, you're selling your house, right? Going to...
Yeah, so we, my family and I've been in sales a long time. We moved to Texas 5 years ago for the opportunity that I just walked away from to start all in on my business. And while we love and appreciate Texas, we bought a camper last year in February because we were like, well, what can we do with our family to make memories and not have to pay to board the dogs and all the things for travel? It's crazy to travel, expensive right now.
Oh my gosh.
And so, we started going in this camper trailer and having a good time. And we took it all across the country, up to Ohio, over to Florida for Thanksgiving. And we had so much fun that we decided, why not make it a lifestyle? When we talk to people that are like, oh, I'd love to be on the road and travel more and do these things, they're like, that sounds like a dream. And we thought to ourselves, well, dreams become reality when you do the work to make it happen. So the only way to make things happen is to commit and go all in. So that's what we did. As I 60 days ago walked away from a multi 6-figure C-suite position at a career that I could have probably stayed in for an entire lifetime if I wanted to. but I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to have a life by design, and I wanted to be able to raise my 8-year-old son and have fun with my wife and know, hey, we made the best of life because I'm not afraid to call the damn leads. It's just a mantra for doing the work. That's all it is. Calling, texting, email, and signing contracts. Like, we're just doing the work. And in doing so, we get to build a life that we're going to be happy with.
Well, and one thing aside from, I think it's awesome that you're going on the road. Like, once my daughter is in college, I will be traveling. So just like you, but I will be overseas, working from there. But one of the things that you just said is that, calling those damn leads. And that's really what it all boils down to, is making those calls. And what I want people to realize is that if you're in real estate, you have a million different opportunities also. So if you're calling the title company, for example, and, to talk to them about the contract, that is a possible opportunity for you, right? Just having a conversation with the title agent, getting to know them. You may think they already have a real estate agent or a mortgage broker or whatever, but they may not, right? And so same thing with the insurance. When you're giving out that insurance referral, or you're at the home inspection and you're talking to the home inspector, these are all leads, potential leads right in front of you. So sometimes we're looking for just, a buyer or a seller, but when you're dealing with everybody in the transaction, those are people that you can then also put into your CRM that you can generate leads and referrals from as well. So let's talk real quick about how a salesperson that might not know a single, like either just got started or moved to an area, has been in real estate for a while, but they don't want to spend money on buying leads, Boomtown, Zillow, all of those costly, services. What would you recommend that they do right away to get started and start generating?
I'm so glad you asked this question, because I had a follow-up to the previous conversation, so this fits perfectly. You want to know what I would tell them? Challenge yourself. Every person that you have a conversation with, be very intentional to get to know them so that they can like you, and then ask them for some sort of referral. Don't even ask them to do business with you. Just say, hey, do you know anyone who might be interested in buying or selling their home? I'm new to the area and I'm trying to build a relationship with people, and you seem like a really nice individual. Something tells me you've got some friends that may be looking to buy or sell, and I'd love to have an introduction if that's possible.
Yeah, something as simple as that, right?
And I think what I really want to impress upon people is it's not asking the individual to do business with you.
Right.
Ask for a referral after you have been a genuinely good human being. The law of reciprocity exists for a reason. And this is another tip too for like recruiters. If you're trying to find new agents, hey, you seem like I like the way you move and groove. You seem like a great sales professional. Do you know anyone like you who's looking for an opportunity?
I love that.
Because they're going to be like, well, there ain't nobody like me. I'm me. I'm the only, like, it's me. Shmee's me. I'm Shmee. You know what I mean? And so now they're thinking, well, what opportunity? Like, what's that mean? You're just sparking a conversation, just getting them thinking. So that's my challenge. If you're new to an area, or you're new to sales and you're trying to figure it out, go out, have intentional conversations when you're genuinely just trying to be a good person. Read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I mean, it's an old book, but it's a classic for a reason. And just go be a good person, and then ask everyone you speak to for a referral.
Absolutely.
Within 30 days, you're going to have more business than you know what to do with. If you're putting them all in, you're done by one CRM and making sure your follow-ups and everything are in place.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I love that. So yeah, just getting out there, talking to people, making sure that you're getting their information, you're putting them into your CRM, you're following up with them. I mean, there's so many different ways to get business that you don't have to buy the business. And that's what I tell, a lot of real estate agents when I do coaching and trainings, is, you have to decide, are you going to work for the business or are you going to buy the business? And not everybody can buy the business. If you have enough money to, pay for Boomtown and Zillow and all of those leads, the problem with those lead sources is those are usually long-term plays. And so people will buy them. Let's just say Zillow, for example. They'll say, oh, I'm going to get Zillow leads. and then they do it for 4 or 5 months. They don't have a sale. They think, oh, this sucks. This doesn't work. And I cannot afford to keep paying for this every month. They don't give it enough time. You really have to make sure that you have at least 12 months of however much that monthly cost is. Or if you don't want to do that, then you can work for the business, but you can't just have leads falling, on your lap. It doesn't work like that. So working for the business is going to be getting involved in the community, having those conversations that might be difficult at first, but eventually they're not that difficult. One way, when I moved to Miami and built my listing inventory up really quickly, is I would find, because I didn't have a listing yet when I just moved there. So I called Inspired Listings, but what I also did was I went to an area that I really wanted to work. It was in Coral Gables, and there was a top agent there, and I said to him, you just got a brand new listing. It's, a beautiful 3-bedroom. Would you mind? Which I didn't have to ask him, but I wanted to, because if he heard I was calling the neighborhood, I wanted him to know what I was doing. But I would say, would you mind if I called the neighborhood and just let them know about the listing? No, that's great. So I literally got a list of the entire neighborhood and would just call and say, hey, this is Danielle. I'm with EW1 Realty. We just listed a home around the corner from you. It's a gorgeous 3-bed, 2-bath. It's listed at $1 million. And I was curious, who do you know would like to move into the neighborhood? So you can do that on the phone, and you can do that by door knocking, right? So just as simple as that, that's how I got my very first listing in Miami, was calling the neighborhood. And this lady, believe it or not, said, oh my gosh, I just opened the phone book. I was looking for a realtor and I almost fell over because I was like, phone book, do they still make them?
Bring it down. That was a blessing. I love it. That's so good.
30 days of consistent calling before I got that first listing, so people give up. But being very, strategic and intentional with your phone calls, doing it in the morning, you have to eat that frog. Because, you'll tell yourself you're going to do it in the afternoon. Oh, I'm not a morning person, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to do it in the afternoon. So making that the first thing that you do in the morning, getting all of your sales calls in. And those are some ways that you can generate business without even, having to pay for leads or, Boomtown or Zillow and stuff like that. So any other processes or systems, aside from lead gen and lead follow-up, maybe a social media process?
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't even get into like the fun stuff because, again, you can't have a name like Meme Lord without doing something a little different. And I'm wild enough that I tattooed it across my knuckle. So anybody that's listening to this and doesn't see us on the video, one of the things that's really made me successful and helped me stand out from every other sales professional along the way is that I like to just be a genuine person. I mean, I think I've kind of harped on that this whole time. That authenticity is really important because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And so many, real estate agents especially, but just sales professionals in general, they try to sell for everyone instead of being very focused on who they can help and why they can help them and what differentiates them from every other guy that's trying to do business with every person on the planet. And so with using memes, I separate myself because when it comes to the follow-up process, right, let's get them on into the CRM. Maybe I meet someone in person out in public and I get their information and I send them that first message or two and they don't respond because sometimes you meet people in public and it's a little awkward. And then it's like, well, they sent me a message and I was busy. And then the next one, I just didn't really feel like responding. And that's just human nature.
Right.
So what I do to differentiate myself is I like to send a follow-up meme, lighthearted, fun, just to kind of break the ice. Because there's two reasons. One, everybody loves memes. Like, let's just be honest. If you're listening to this and we went into your phone, there's a group chat somewhere where you're sending memes to people. There's maybe even one person in your life that you only communicate with memes. Like, you literally say nothing else other than 100 reels a day to each other. So just psychologically, memes, they resonate. There's a relation to them. So whenever we see them, we want to know what's going on because our mind is a very curious thing. When it sees something that's familiar, we're like, okay, well, what is out of context here? What's different? And this is the other sneaky part of this. When you send a message to someone, most of the time these days, there's a banner that pops up that you can see what the message is. And it's like, oh, hey, just checking in. Wanted to follow up. How you been? Did you get my contract? Did you see the thing? Did you do the thing to buy the things from me so that we can do the monies and the thing? Like, it's easy to see and ignore. But when you send a meme, it's an image and it's kind of like a preview. So they can't always see exactly what it is. So now their mind is like, well, the hell is this thing? So they're encouraged to click on it, take that 2 seconds to look at it because of the pattern interrupt, because it's not a normal follow-up message. And if you're doing it right, you know your audience, you know how to build relationship. If you've taken my course or learned from me and you know, seen the psychology behind this process, it creates a relationship. It creates a deeper connection, because if a picture is worth 1,000 words, you can only send like 150 characters in a text message, but you can send one image and make that whole image say everything that you need to say.
That's awesome.
It is. And it's funny because I've personally done, you know, sent memes to make well over $1 million in commissions the last few years. And I know the best story is when I first started this process, it was one of my buddies who was in real estate that I reached out to and was like, bro, you're not going to believe this. I've been sending this meme out to the people that ghosted me, and I've got like a 70% response rate. He's like, no bullshit. And I'm like, just hear me out and try it. And this was 4 or 5 years ago now. So it was like before the meme stream came in. And he sent one out, and I shit you not, he hit me back a couple days later and says, bro, you're not going to believe this. I just got a $1.8 million listing by sending a meme out to the people that had ghosted me.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Isn't that wild?
Well, and that it's a way to differentiate yourself, and that's what people are looking for, right? And like a lot of times, you know, when talking about ghosting people, you know, a lot of times people think that it has something to do with them. And I tell this story actually all the time in my lead gen class, because if we're working with somebody and all of a sudden they don't respond, right? We automatically think to ourselves, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? What should I have said? Should I have done this differently? Should I have done that? Instead of realizing that it might not have anything to do with me, right? And so I had a client, and I went on a listing presentation, and I thought to myself, I'm getting this listing. Like, I've already spoken to them several times. I was a big expired listing agent. That's how I got a lot of my listings. And so, you know, I'm going up against a lot of top dog, you know, expired listing agents in the area. So met with them. I was like, I'm getting this listing signed. She tells me, I will, well, you know, we want to list with you, but we're not going to sign the agreement today. And so give us a call in a couple of days or whatever. So I'm thinking, what the heck? And I know how those Miami agents are. I'm like, there's probably 4 others lined up. So I go back to my office. I don't get the listing signed. So now I call a couple days later. If someone tells you to call them in 4 days, call them in 2. Like, I always cut the time in half, because if you call them in 4, they've already relisted, right? So you want to cut the time in half. If someone says, like, I just put a task in my calendar, someone said call them in March, I'm going to call them the end of February and just or middle of February and just touch base with them, right? So you always want to make sure you're following up with someone with a little, you know, quick message or note throughout that period of time. But anyways, so she's not answering me. So I'm like, oh my God. So finally, I think it was like a week later, literally ghosted me. I go to the door, I knock on the door, and she opens it and she goes, I told you, I'll call you when we're ready. Slams the door in my face, right? So I go back to my car, go to my office. I'm like, oh my God. So it's probably like 3 days after that, or 2 days. And she calls me and she's like, Danielle, I just wanted to, first of all, apologize to you and let you know that we are ready to list with you now. What happened was, when you came to my house that day, I had just found out that there was a $200,000 tax lien on my home, and the IRS was shut down it was like during some government shutdown thing. And
no.
I had to get in touch with the IRS to figure out how much the payoff was, so I knew how much we were going to net at the end, and I was too embarrassed to tell you. So we got it all figured out now. I want you to come over and list my home. So, okay, 2 points to the story. Point number 1 is the entire time I'm thinking it's something that I did, right? And that point's ghosting me, and it had nothing to do with me. So if people ghost you, don't think it's you, right? It could be something completely different. And then the second point of this story is ego. Don't let your ego get the best of you, because yes, she did slam the door in my face, and yes, she was rude to me, but she did need my help, and she was personally hurting inside because she wasn't aware of everything that was going on. So, you definitely need to follow through. Don't give up. I always say that I'm a bulldog if I don't get that, that listing signed, because you have to follow up after the fact until you win the deal or they go with somebody else. And even if they go with somebody else, eventually they may come back to you if it doesn't work out. So anyways, my whole little tangent there was, a lot of times people ghost someone and it's not because of anything that you've done. But if I were to send a little meme, right, that could have definitely gotten her, instead of me just calling her, texting her, emailing her, going to the house, that could have gotten a better response.
You never know. Hindsight's always 20/20, but the beautiful thing is I love what you said there about just the consistency, just a willingness to keep showing up, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever. I mean, real estate, sales in general, it's a roller coaster ride. There's ups, there's downs, there's everything in between. And sometimes there's a whole lot of waiting, then going on a crazy ride, and then waiting. Like, this is sales. Now, ideally, if you're using your CRM and you're putting in the work and you're done by 1 every day because you're calling the leads and you're working the system in the process, hopefully you're not having to wait forever between every ride. But like, let's just be honest, it's the consistency of showing up and doing the work and being willing to do whatever it takes in the day and in the moment that allows you to be successful. And Danielle, you're a fantastic example of that. So I love that story.
Yeah, thank you. When you talk about the roller coaster ride, this is what happens, right? We're in sales, so crickets. Oh, crap, I need deals. So what do? I go out, I call the damn leads, I follow up, I go like crazy, I get these deals, and then what do? I stop doing what got me the deal, right? I stop calling those damn leads because I have all these deals and I can't keep up, and my customer service is going down, and So as you're calling those damn leads, you cannot stop when you get deals, because those deals are either going to close or they're going to die, and you're not literally die, but fall apart.
You never know. It's crazy.
Stuck with not having any deals. And then you call those damn leads again and you lead follow up like crazy. And the next thing you know, you got all these deals, and then you stop calling those damn leads, and then those deals close or die, and you're on that roller coaster. And it happens every time. And so what you have to also do is figure out, as you're building your business, what do I have to put in place? What systems and processes do I have to put in place? And then also, who do I have to put in place to make sure I still have the time to call those damn leads, so that your business is not that roller coaster ride?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Last and final question for you. I have not been keeping track of time, so I don't even know how long we've been on here, but last and final question. You trademarked a lot of things, right? And I love that. And this is for me personally, and anybody else out there that might be looking to trademark something. Can you give us some, reasons why you would trademark, and also maybe some steps that you used to get this trademarked, and then also how long is the process?
Yeah, 100%. So, funny, quick story. I won't go too far in, but when I was moving into my position that I just recently left, I walked into the office building the first day, and I was kind of, how you do, you're checking everything out on the wall, the plaques and all the signs. And I was looking at these frames, and it said, United States of America Patent and Trademark Office. And I was like, well, what's that all about? And the mentor I was working with at the time, he says, well, those, my boy, those are business assets. Those are what are going to make us rich someday. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And he's like, well, man, we're building a business, but I own these trademarks. And so at any point when someone buys us out, they have to buy the trademark from me as well. And, or I can, sell it to them on a royalty basis. Like, all the stuff started going over my head at that point, because I was still new to business. Like, all I heard was business asset, make us rich. And I was like, cool, say less, fam. Like I'm in. So I started kind of understanding and watching, and there's so many trademarks out there, like just do it. People know Nike, the Golden Arches, McDonald's, like their trademarks and logos and branding is such an important part of really getting out in front of the public. I mean, having a brand is the number one thing, especially right now. I mean, what Jay-Z says, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man. So like you are the business, especially in real estate. Like you have a brokerage that you may work for or you may own, but you are the business.
Yeah.
And so, I had a lot of phrases that I was using, like crush the day before it crushes you was kind of my personal mantra for mindset and growth. And then when it came to sales and marketing, it was like, call the damn leads, call the damn leads, call the damn leads. And so I started realizing that because they're my brand, my phrases, I want to be able to own them because I don't want someone else to go and take over them. And, again, all I heard was business asset and make us rich. So I was like, well, what do I need to do? Called up an attorney, a friend of mine, asked him some of the questions. He was like, well, first we have to do a little research to see if anyone else owns it already. Then once we've done that, we can file the paperwork, and there's a cost to that. And I think, again, you contact your attorney. States are all different. The big thing to know is there's different categories. So the category that you're buying the trademark in matters, because if you're trying to get it in multiple categories, well, then there's additional fees that go along with that. And again, speak to an attorney. I hire someone smarter than me. Like when you're selling and buying real estate, you hire a realtor because they're smarter than you are, right? Like that's just the game. So I went to him. I said, hey, these are the things that I want to do. This is why I want to do it and how I'm currently using it for commercial purposes. He said, cool. I do the research, file the trademark fees, and then you wait. It takes, on average, anywhere from 12 to 18 months for the applications and everything to process. However, once you have filed the paperwork, you can officially put the little TM beside the phrase or whatever it is. And then when you get back your completed paperwork, that's when you get to use the little registered R trademark portion.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Did I explain that part well, hopefully?
Yeah.
And so...
That's cool to know. That's good.
Yeah, and so the process isn't difficult. The important thing is to think about this, and this is a lot of you who are trying to build a brand or a business right now. It's really important to do your research early because you don't want to be 3 to 5 years into building your brand and starting to catch wind, only to find out that someone else who's bigger and more powerful than you and has deeper pockets already owns it. I have several friends of mine that have gotten, 4 or 5 years into a lot of them are like contractors, but they're like, hey, I want to grow this thing, and they're trying to scale only to find out that someone else already owns it and they can't actually scale with it. And then the cost of rebranding, and if you're, in a market where you've been, the real McCoy or whatever it is for so long, then what are you going to do? You got to completely rebrand. You've lost 5 years of effort. So for you, big think about, like, if this is something you're considering, reach out to an attorney, speak to an expert, reach out to me personally. I'd be happy to point you to someone. I've got a guy that has done 6 or so for me. So again, anybody listening to this and you come and find me on social media, happy to introduce you, but cannot encourage you enough. If you are really serious about building a brand, protecting your brand, and really having something that can last for a legacy and a lifetime, definitely get yourself protected and get the trademarks in place.
Agree 100%. I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for you that you're going to do awesome. I'm so excited for you to go on the road. I'm a huge proponent of living life by design. That's why you see me traveling all the time. And that's why I had to come up with Done by One, because I was sick of sitting in the hotel room while my family was enjoying the vacation and I was slaving away. So what can I automate, systematize, to make my life and job done by one? So everything's turning the needle every day for me, whether I'm personally doing it or not. My clients would never know. So where can people find you on social media?
Absolutely. So if you can go to @CallTheDamnLeads, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. If you go to callthedamnleads.com, we have swag, we have keychains, wristbands, hats, t-shirts, all the kind of fun stuff. And then I actually just released a new book here a few weeks ago called Call the Damn Leads, funny enough. So if you're listeners and you're okay with it, I have a free copy available for download. If you go to callthedamnleads.com/free book offer, you can get a download of the book. There's a couple other cool little offers on that page. Just again, I know at the end of the day, making money comes down to one thing: doing the work and calling the damn leads. And with that, making sure you have a badass CRM like Done by One so that it'll automate a lot of that stuff for you on the back end. So all you got to do is show up, call the damn leads, do what you do best, and then go home and hang out with your family or do the hobbies that bring you the most joy.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah. So that's awesome. So go to callthedamnleads.com/
free book offer.
Free book offer. And you can get the book or you can buy it on Amazon if you want that hard copy. And all of your swag, is that where the website is also?
Everything's at callthedamnleads.com. I mean, I try to keep it really simple, right? Keep it simple sells.
Yes. Callthedamnleads.com. Thank you so much for being on. Like, I think there's always so many, great golden nuggets when I talk to you. You're awesome at sales, marketing, built a very successful business and about to build and crush another one. So I'm really excited for you. I appreciate it.
You.
And everybody that's watching this on YouTube, or if you want to watch it on YouTube so you can see us, go on over to YouTube and please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel because I am trying to grow YouTube. It's been taking me a little too long. And that's at Real Estate Secrets Unlocked. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm excited for your audience to get some of value today.
Yes, thank you. Bye, everyone. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Real Estate Secrets Unlocked. Don't forget to subscribe to our show on your favorite platform, and we would love your feedback. Check us out on social and let me know what topics you want more of. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and our show. I'm your host, Danielle Damianov, and until next time, stay motivated, stay excited, and keep growing in this crazy world of real estate. Thanks for listening to Real Estate Secrets Unlocked.